Hello and welcome. Please say hi in the chat. Let me know where you are if you want to share. I'm in New York. I'm Violet. For those of you who don't know me, I see some familiar bubbles down there. I'm not going to call you out, so say hello. I see you. Hi, Caitlin. My friend, how are you? I saw you down there and I see another friend down there, but I'm being good. I'm not calling anybody out. And I'm dual streaming, so I'm saying hello to Maribel. Maribel on the other side. On both sides, I love it. Aw, I'm glad you're here to support. Thank you. I was just texting Blossom right before I started, and I said I have listened to these tracks and a couple of videos that Matt shared over and over because I try to make myself immune before I go live. This way, I don't cry during the live because you all know I love to cry, but I try to cry off camera. So I was listening to these tracks. Those are my pups in the picture, by the way, the two on the couch. That was my first two rescues, Simon and Barney. And then, of course, the picture above I created with AI. And I sort of added Onyx to it. It didn't do a good job of capturing Onyx. I created that photo before AI was as sophisticated as it is now. All right, let me say hi, Mary. Hi, Maribel. Hi, Martha. That's so nice to see you all here today. I kind of scheduled this one last minute. Hi, Christina. So I appreciate you all being here with me. Hello, Ginger. And if you have a pet, whether here or on the other side, feel free to drop your pet's name in the chat. I thought it would be nice today to focus on writing a letter to a pet who's crossed over. And I know that's a really sensitive subject, so I don't want to upset anybody. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. If you just want to hang out, that's good too. But of course, I had to share pictures of my two rescues, Simon and Barney, who I had adopted when I first moved into this house back in 2014. They were actually brothers from the same litter. We have a Yorkie named Blue who's 14. I love that. So yeah, I adopted these two rescues. They were brothers from the same litter. We had just moved into this house that my husband renovated. And he was a little leery about getting pets, although he was the animal lover. Believe it or not, I had not had a dog in, over 30 years since I was in high school. So I was okay not having a dog. But my husband, huge animal lover, got me into wanting a dog. So we got an email from a friend about two dogs that were up for adoption. Their current foster person was having shoulder surgery and she had 4 dogs and she had just rescued these two brothers, which is the picture of my Simon and my Barney on the couch. She had just rescued these two brothers from a high kill shelter. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Jay-Z. Hi, Pam. So, of course, Ginger, I was not going to separate them. They wanted to keep these brothers. They had been together their whole lives. They came from the same litter. I don't really know what the situation was, but apparently the people who had them were moving their trailer somewhere or moving into a mobile home and didn't want to take the dogs with them, couldn't take the dogs with them. So they had left them underneath a trailer and the rescue got them from underneath the trailer and they were moved around and they ended up in a high kill shelter. And a woman who lived nearby rescued them, but then she couldn't keep them. So she sent out this email. Somehow the email made its way to me. I went to see them and, of course I fell in love. Although Simon, the little black one on the couch, did nothing but bark at me and I thought this dog hates me. But we adopted them together and they were inseparable, except that Simon, the little black one, was a little bit of a cranky old man and Barney, the other one, was very playful. So they were an interesting dynamic. And actually, Barney crossed over before Simon did. So I got Onyx when I still had Simon and Simon was not at all happy. He hated the puppy. He wanted nothing to do with him. And of course, the night before Simon crossed over, he finally bonded to the puppy. And I was like, great, now that he's saying goodbye. I mean, that broke my heart, obviously, because he was saying goodbye and now he was bonding. But now I have Onyx and Onyx is my only dog at the moment. I thought about getting a second one, but honestly, I adopted Onyx as a puppy, and that was a lot of work. I adopted the other two when they, oh, Mari, thank you for your donation. You're so sweet. Thank you. And you guys know that any donations I get, I share with animal rescues because that is a cause that is near and dear to my heart. So, so now I have Onyx, who is a handful. And because I adopted the other two when they were 4.5, and I had 9 years with them, which was amazing. But I thought, I want a puppy. I want as much time as possible. My husband tried to talk me out of it. I didn't listen. And he's now going to be 3 in May. He was born on my birthday, which is incredible. And he's just now starting to settle down. He has been a crazy puppy up until now, and a handful. Oh, Jay-Z, yeah, I would never separate them. I adopt only seniors and try to take bonded pairs. Sometimes it's a trio. I love that, Jay-Z. Yeah, if Onyx had come with a brother, I would have grabbed both of them. Onyx was one of 7 in a litter, and the rescue put their pictures up, and they were adopted as fast as she had them up. In fact, she was coming up from Chicago, and I was on the fence about adopting because I thought she was local, and she's like, no, we bring them up to New York. And I thought, okay, so I'm not going to get to meet this puppy. I just have to say I want to adopt him, and you're going to show up with this puppy, and I'm going to take him, And I thought, what if this doesn't work out? Like, I would never give the dog back. I'd keep him no matter what. But anyway, long story short, I thought about it for like a second and was like, you know what? I'll take him. So I did, and I brought home this puppy, and I lost 10 pounds in the first month because I was exhausted. So as much as I love him, I think the next dog I adopt, I want him to be at least 3 years old. Jay-Z, I love that you adopt seniors. My aunt lives down the hill from me, and she only adopts seniors as well. She's been doing that for so many years. She's had so many dogs, I lost count. But she is down to 1 now. She's gotten a lot older. She is 86 years old. So I think she knows it's getting a little harder for her to keep adopting so many dogs. So now she's got 1, and I think she's going to keep it that way. But my husband and I would go down there all the time and take care of her dogs during the day because she's 88, 86 years old, and she's still working. This woman has more energy than I do. She's retired and she still works. And sometimes she'd have a long day, so we would go down there and let the dogs out and, play with them during the day because they were home alone a lot during the day. So I think she knows that it's time to slow down a little. She has stopped adopting tons of dogs. At one point, she had about 5 of them. Let's see what else we have going on. We are like-minded. I love Mari, me too. And you know I live in the woods. So we have coyotes and fox and bear. And I'm not afraid of them because they haven't come near me, thank goodness. They stay off in the distance, which is fine. But I wish I had queued up. I have a gorgeous picture of a coyote that my husband took the other day. We normally have coyotes, roaming around, and those 2 dogs that I had used to go outside, and they were never bothered by any coyotes. But now with Onyx, I'm a little nervous because it's just him. And he's very playful. And, coyotes can try to lure a dog away. There have been between 3 and 6 of them around my house, which is the most I've ever seen. So I'm hesitant to let him out as much as I used to let these guys out. But he's fine. He's good. Hi, Blossom. You're away from chat. You'll be back when you eat breakfast. All right, bring me back some breakfast too. Joanne, did I say hello to you? Hello, Joanne. So today our focus for our journaling is going to be writing a letter. If you want, I know it's a very delicate subject, but it was something that helped me when mine crossed over. Barney was the first one that crossed over. And then 8 months later, I lost Simon. And it took me that long to be able to write my letter to them. And I'm going to share my letter with you. And I listened to it a couple of times earlier because I was hoping that if I listened to it enough, it won't make me cry. So if you see me crying while I'm playing it, just don't mind me. I'll be fine. I'm a crier. You all know that, okay? So this is the letter that I wrote. Oh, I have to turn down Blossom's music was playing in the background. I always forget I have it on. I'm going to mute myself when I play the track. And I have a box of tissue handy. If anybody needs tissue, now's a good time to go grab them.
My sweet boys, seems hard to believe that it's been almost a year since Barney sat at my feet, and a couple of months since I held Simon on my lap while he took his last breath. I think about that day when I first saw your picture in an email, two brothers from the same litter, almost 5 years old, who needed a home together. I was only looking for one dog, but it was love at first sight. I knew I had to adopt you both. So we went to see you, and a few days later we brought you home. We just moved into the house. I couldn't wait to adopt a pup, and now I had two. I was so ready, or so I thought. It took some getting used to. There were gates everywhere. There was constant vacuuming of dog hair, and that small learning curve as you both adjusted to a new living situation and some new house training rules. But we got through it together. I still laugh when I think of Barney climbing into my flower pots because he loved that cool soil in the summer, or running off quietly with a sock that I dropped like it was a great prize and he had to hide it, or Simon laying next to his brother with his furrowed brow and his look of disgust at whatever Barney was doing. My sigh was always the stoic one, and my barn always so playful. Years later, when Barney became diabetic, it was hard, but I became an expert with needles and insulin. I have to admit, the cancer that followed 4 years later was a lot more challenging. And I promised myself I would never let either of you suffer just so I could keep you longer. So when I saw Barney struggling to walk, sometimes barely eating, which was always our favorite thing to do, or showing signs of pain, I knew it was time. And then Simon developed dementia, which made his anxiety so hard. And after 8 months of letting Barney go, I saw Simon suffering too. I knew it was time to let him go. When the vet carried Simon out of the house that night, even though I had the puppy and Tim with me, I felt like a huge piece of this house was forever gone. Barney was my shadow, my late night snacking partner. His loss hit me so hard. Simon, on the other hand, was my quiet, grumpy old man, but I loved him, and he was my last connection to Barney on this earth. You were my babies. I loved you so much, and I need to change that. You are my babies, and I will always love you. I find comfort knowing you're together and seeing your pictures next to your ashes in their beautiful little wooden boxes, side by side, on the special shelf I filled with your mementos, hanging over your favorite beds, where the puppy now sleeps. That night before Simon crossed over, when that light on Barney's statue, which hadn't worked for months, suddenly lit up, I felt like he was telling me he was waiting for his brother. Or maybe he was telling me to stop asking if I did the right thing. The guilt of feeling relief alongside grief is something I've struggled with and something people don't usually talk about. But in my heart, I know that letting you go peacefully was the hardest yet most loving decision I could have made. You deserved a life free of fear and pain. And now I have Onyx. When I picked him up at the rescue and learned he was born 2 months prior on my exact birthday, I felt like it was fate. And for some reason, I felt Barney sent him my way. It seemed like something my funny guy would do. Simon was not thrilled when I brought home the puppy. But the night before he passed, he finally warmed up to him. He laid close to him the way he used to do with Barney. Simon never liked other dogs, but he was always so connected to his brother. And seeing him connect to Onyx, finally, after 6 months, filled me with a bittersweet understanding. It was like he knew he was saying goodbye and he was ready. Onyx would never replace either of them, but he carries a piece of that unconditional love with him. My sweet boys taught me that. Sometimes at night I sit in the living room watching TV, and even though they're no longer here in this physical realm, I feel their presence, and I'll turn to look at those little statues on my deck, and they're both lit up, and I feel that glow in my heart because I know that they're both with me always. Through them, I learned the true meaning of one of my favorite quotes. Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. Thank you for my awakening, sweet boys. Thank you for choosing me, for the joy you gave me, the sweet companionship, and the gift of Onyx. Onyx is the total opposite of both of you, a crazy, rambunctious puppy who has a home now thanks to you and everything you taught me. You are forever with me and forever in my heart.
All right, I made it. That wasn't too bad. Like I said before, I listened to that track a couple of times today because I thought I'm not going to cry during my live. Oh, thank you. And the reason I encourage people to do these letters is because I feel like it kind of gives you that, I don't want to say closure, but it leads you into that healing. And I think just writing it down and to listen to it, obviously I created a track. It took me a couple of tries. I created that track 2 years ago, and it took me about 5 or 6 tries before I could read it without crying. I think towards the end of the track, you can kind of hear my voice was cracking, but I was determined to do it. Joanne says, also beautiful definitely leads to, yeah, right, Joanne? It leads to a little bit more release. And Joanne has written some beautiful things too, by the way. I was going to email you today, Joanne, about the thing that you sent me, but I'll email you later. But I don't know if any of you were at our live last night with poets and musicians. That was spectacular. Joanne was part of it, and Joanne has written so many beautiful things. Joanne, I need to hear more of those tracks. Thank you, Martha. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this particular session on pet loss is because, a lot of you know Matt, and Matt recently lost his pup. And, I feel that pain every time someone tells me that they have an animal who's crossed over. I remember what that feels like. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I think I sometimes grieved the animals more than I did some people that I know. And actually today would have been my dad's birthday, speaking of people who we've lost. He would have been 86. He died when he was really young. He was 55. And, obviously that was a hard thing to go through. But I still think that when you lose an animal, it's different because, they're with you 24/7. They give you that unconditional love. And I think unless you've had a pet, you don't understand that. I know I didn't before I had a pet. I didn't understand the bond that you form with an animal. So, letter writing to release emotions is something that I'm really big on. So, of course, I had to do one based on pet loss. Joanne says, thanks. Yes, please record more of them. They were right, Maribel. Her poems are beautiful. Hey, Siba, how are you? And Siba, by the way, has a live right after us, and he has been doing some beautiful dedications. I'm going to put the card up here. Beautiful dedications to our animal companions. So I want to make sure that I send everybody in that direction. That starts in 40 minutes from now, and we'll be done. We'll be done by then. I have a couple of videos that Matt shared with me. I want to share one. Well, I definitely want to share the one that he played of his pup, Otis. And like I said, I know a lot of you know that Otis crossed over recently. And Matt is so strong. I don't know how Matt went live and was talking about it and showed the video. Like when Barney crossed over, I had just become a teacher on Insight Timer. I think I'd been a teacher for maybe a month. I canceled all my lives for the next 3 months. I just couldn't. I couldn't go live. I couldn't talk about it. I cried for 3 weeks over this pup, the first one. The second one was a little different, I think, because I had Onyx, who was keeping me very busy, and I had already gone through the loss of Barney. So even though it hit me hard, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't as traumatic as losing the first one. Oh, Joanne, you're going live too. Okay, awesome. Okay. Hi, Mans. Yeah, Jay-Z, grief is so personal, and I couldn't go on camera. And when when I saw Matt doing what he did, I was like, wow, he's amazing. He's so strong. I mean, and Matt does so many beautiful dedications. And of course, I had to ask him if I could borrow his videos, which he shared. I'm going to show you first the one of his dog. And again, I'm going to try to do this without crying. Steve says, Joanne, you stream too. I didn't see you. Yeah, Joanne is a teacher. Yes, she sure is. Oh, Pam, you were? Okay, well, Pam, get ready because I've got that video. I'm going to play his video. I've got 2 of his videos. Both of them had me in tears. So I literally was listening to them over and over again yesterday so that I could do this without crying. And it wasn't even my pup. You saw the video, you didn't see. Oh, okay. Well, here's the video. Oops, let's see. There we go.
When I first saw you, I knew I had to take you home. My friends, they argued I couldn't raise you on my own. But I was sure that you were meant to be with me. You were my angel, sent from above to set me free. Let's get in my car, and I will take you for a ride. Go to the bar and greet all the customers inside. I won't forget all that you've done for my life. My only hope is you're up there chasing butterflies. Well, I just looked into your eyes. Now I don't know all of the love you felt inside. My only hope is you're up there chasing butterflies. Until then, just keep on chasing butterflies. But until then, just keep on chasing butterflies.
Matt, that was great timing. That video is so beautiful. I love it so much. So cute he is. And by the way, I just realized Kai is in the chat, and Kai is someone who runs an amazing support group here on Insight Timer on pet loss. Kai, how many members are in your group now? I think it's almost 1,000. I know it's a lot. I joined that group. Oh gosh, it had to be 3 years ago, probably when yeah, there's Kai. When Barney was crossing over, and your group was one of the many resources on Insight Timer that I recommend to people. It's the top of my list because your support group was amazing. And Kai is so active in the group and greets everyone and consoles everyone. So if you need a pet loss support group, join Kai's group. It's here on Insight Timer. And Kai, could you put the name of the group in? I know it's called Pet Loss Support, something like that. It's easy to find, and I have it in my playlist. Not my playlist. I have it mentioned in the course that I just put out. I have the URL in there. I couldn't link it anywhere else. However, if you send me a message, if you can't find it, I will help you find it. Ginger says, these are great resources. I'm a veterinarian and specialize in older pets and quality of life. I love that. Hey, Danny. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. It's nice to see you. Jay-Z writes, Matt, you are so blessed to have shared each other's lives. I agree. I agree so much. You know, as hard as it is to lose them, and it definitely takes time to heal from that, I always feel like it really did so much for me to have them. And, you know, I still feel like they're with me. And in fact, every now and then, Onyx is staring off into like space. And I'll say to him, are you seeing Simon or Barney? Are they there? Tell me. Because, you know, animals are very intuitive. We know they see things that we don't. And I'm convinced that he sees them still. So I'm always asking him to tell me. He doesn't tell me, but. So please, Kai, if you can, put the name of your group in the chat. And if anybody has any suggestions, like, you know, if you've been through pet loss and there was something that helped you, put it in the chat because I would love to know. You know, there were so many things that I did. I have, you know, like bracelets. I have a ring with little paw prints on it. I have a bracelet with all 3 of the pups' names on it. You can't see it. It's very small. But for me, just having these little things near me, little mementos, and of course, Lap of Love has tons of resources. Ginger, what is Lap of Love? Is that an organization? Sounds familiar. I will have to Google that because I'm adding a list of resources to my course. And I have a list of all the tracks on Insight Timer that I use, and there were a lot. There was tapping, which oddly enough, I never thought tapping was like, not that I didn't think it was a real thing, but I thought, what's that going to do for me? I remember right after Simon crossed over, you know, again, I was in tears and I had a live that day and I didn't think I could do it. And one of the Insight Timer teachers called me, Barbara Faison, who I adore. She hasn't been active on Insight Timer, but she's still around. She called me up and she told me that when her pup crossed over, she had used a tapping and she sent me the video, a tapping technique. And I was desperate. So I was like, you know what, I'll try anything. And I did it and it really did help me. So I have created a list inside this course that I just did. And this course I wanted to do for probably 2 years. And it was only now that I was able to sit down and do it because again, you know, you start looking through letters and pictures and those feelings come up and you feel so emotional. Jay-Z says, I write their tributes right away so I can remember as much as possible. Yeah, the little things that made them who they are. I had to write 5 last year. That is rough, Jay-Z. That's a lot. Caroline says, we lost our 13-year-old German Shepherd January 11th. We're heartbroken. We fostered another shepherd that was run over by a car and had been shot with BBs, but it was hard to give her up. Another heartbreak. Oh, yeah, fostering is hard. I admire anybody who can do that. I haven't fostered because I'm pretty sure that if I foster, I will end up keeping every dog that I take on and my husband will pass out. So, but I admire you for fostering. That's so hard. Like when we adopted Simon and Barney, I didn't know anything about them or their history. I knew a little bit about their history. Pet loss support group. Yes, Kai, thank you for putting that in there. And Blossom, yes, EFT is amazing. The tapping is amazing. I was a little bit of a skeptic, I had never tried it. I mean, I had tried it, but I was like, yeah, so I'm tapping, so what's that doing for me? But I did it and it really helped me. I'm so grateful to Barbara for having, connected me with that. And all the teachers on Insight Timer. There were so many teachers that reached out to me during that time, especially because I had just become a teacher, had a few lives, and then I canceled all my lives for the next 3 months because I couldn't do it. I couldn't go on camera. Every time I tried to talk, I would just want to cry. But I just want people to know there are a lot of resources that you can use, and I've listed them all inside of this course. And if you're not a premium member, just send me a message. I will send you a list of all the resources. There's so many free resources on Insight Timer that you can use. And, there were just a lot of things that I did just to kind of memorialize them and I have, a shelf with the little boxes with their ashes, and someone said you're supposed to release the ashes, but I refuse. I'm not doing that. And I tell people, you do what works for you. Everybody's different, everybody grieves differently. Ginger says a lot of my clients feel like they shouldn't be hit so hard. It's just a dog. Oh gosh, no, it's not. It's a family member. And Ginger, for me, it's a closer family member than any of my other family members. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Because again, we form a bonds with them that is so, and that unconditional love, you don't get that from a lot of family members. It's absolutely way more than a dog. To me, it's like, the family's here and the dogs are up here. So yeah, I thank goodness no one has ever said that to me. I think my mom made a comment when I told her my second dog had passed over. She's like, oh, well, it happens. They die. And I was like, click, done talking. Yeah, dogs are like children. They really are. I mean, like Onyx is my baby. I'm so protective of him. I was very protective of the other two. Says we're going away for 11 days and boarding him. Oh, wow. The first time you're doing it, we went for the evaluation. He seemed to enjoy the place. Where are you boarding him, Pam? I'm just curious because I know Pam is sort of a neighbor. She lives about 20 minutes away from me. And I have one person locally that I trust to board Onyx. And if you ever need a recommendation, let me know because she's amazing. Oh, Wiggles is really good. I went to Wiggles when he was a puppy, or they do puppy socializing. I don't know if you went to any of those sessions, but yeah, I like Wiggles. I went to another place that I can't mention that I don't like because I had him there for grooming, and I think you know the story, Pam, of what happened. He was cut by the groomer, and they didn't tell me. And I came home, and we found out that Onyx had a gash in his side, and that was a whole other story. Had to take him to an emergency vet, and he was stitched up twice, and it was a long recovery. So I'm not allowed to say who it was because they made me sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to reimburse me the $3,100 that it cost me to take him to the vet. But thank goodness he's okay, Danny. He wasn't even phased. I was more upset than he was. Ginger, no, it does not end in March. I've heard some not so great things about them too, so I won't go there. Kiki says, hello, longtime pet owner. I've had to say goodbye to many of my fur babies. My henna, only 5 years. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I can imagine that. That's hard. Barney was 13 and Simon was 14. And it seems like there's never enough time. And 5 years is definitely not enough. That's, oh gosh, Kiki, I'm so sorry. And if you heard what we were saying. There's so many resources on Insight Timer. I wrote my letter because I listened to Tracy Marino. I'm going to put her name here. I don't think I have her card. She has a course on pet loss that really, really helped me. Marino. I have her course actually listed also in my course. But there are so many resources on Insight Timer that I used that helped me. There were tracks, Kai's group, pet loss support. I'm going to put that in here. Kai is an amazing admin. Pet loss support group. That group has almost 1,000 members. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kai, but when I joined, it was a couple hundred. And the fact that that group grew so fast says a lot. There's a lot of people grieving their pets and needing that kind of support. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do the course and why I wanted to do this live, because it's almost something that people don't talk about a lot, because like Ginger said, you feel like, oh, it shouldn't hit me so hard. Like you're almost embarrassed. I was not, but I know people sometimes are almost embarrassed to talk about how much they're grieving over their pet, because you never know how other people are going to respond, especially if they're not animal lovers. There was a teacher on Insight Timer. I'm not going to mention who it was, but I remember joining that teacher's live, and Simon, who was 14, had just crossed over, and I was still devastated. And the teacher says to me, well, how old was he? I said, he was 14. He says, well, that's old for a dog, isn't it? Almost like, well, so he was 14. So wasn't he supposed to die? So needless to say, I left that live, did not go back. But I thought to myself, I wasn't upset because I assumed this person is not an animal lover. Yeah, I know, Kai. I was torn between being annoyed and being forgiving. I was like, he's obviously not an animal lover, or he wouldn't have said something that's stupid, because that was a stupid comment to make. And I guess not everybody can relate. So fortunately for me, most of the people I know, almost everybody I know, is an animal lover, has had a pet, has loved the pet. So I didn't get that reaction through me. Oh, he was 14. Wasn't that old for a dog? Like that was enough. So I was like, okay. People say that when you lose an elderly loved. Yes, Patricia, it's, like, I don't even know what to say about some of the stupid comments that people will make. Stupid, insensitive. It's like, are you kidding me? So if your mother is 88 and she's gone, is that okay? Jay-Z, those people are not in our circles. Exactly. They're not in my circle. They will never be a part of my circle. Like I said, I was very lucky that I had so much support. Yeah, definitely not okay. It doesn't matter how old or how young. It's never okay to make stupid comments like that. And I don't know. I keep hoping people will become more sensitive, but sometimes, I don't know. I have another video that I want to share, another Matt video. It is called Dancing in the Sky, and it applies to anything you've ever lost, whether it be a person or a pet. And I'm going to play it because it's beautiful. And I hope I don't make anybody cry, but if you cry, it's okay. Tears are good. Tears are very healing. I'm a crier. Everybody knows this now. This one's called Dancing in the Sky. It's so beautiful.
Remember walking on the sun. Remember running in the rain. Remember strolling down the streets at night. Remember dancing in the day. Remember howling at the moon. Remember barking at the stars. Woke up today and heard no noise at all. Wish you were here to chase these cars. Remember the 4th of July. Those fireworks, they shine so bright. The rockets' glare don't seem so scary now. We know it's safe right here inside. Remember waking up at midnight. Remember sleeping through the day. All those nights we lost our peace are gone. And now the pain is gone away. They tell me dog days are over and they're done. And wild horses are coming, better run. But if you look and see, they've been here all along. And every day we stop and sing the same old song. But I know and I see that there's more. I believe that one day you and I will be dancing in the sky. Remember Christmas in July. Remember Easter eggs in May. We were young, we made up our own time. It didn't matter anyway. Remember brunches in the evening. Remember lunches after dark. Remember crying to your favorite show. Remember long walks through the park. Remember singing karaoke. Your voice used to be so loud. Woke up today and heard no noise at all. Wish you were here to calm me down. Remember birthdays at the bar. Let's pour out a drink or two. Tell the DJ play your favorite song, and I'll always remember you. They tell me dog days are over and they're done. And wild horses are coming, better run. But if you look and see, they've been here Every day we stop and sing the same old song. But I know and I see that there's more. I believe that one day you and I will be dancing in the sky. Remember birthdays at the bar. Let's pour out a drink or two. Tell the DJ play your favorite song, and I'll always remember you.
All right. Let's see, what does Jean say? Grief is not linear and does not have a timeline. Yes, that's true. It will move through us in its own way. Sometimes, as we move through the steps, the process of grief, we will get to a point where it seems to be less harsh. That's so true. And then something, a sound, a beam of light will strike us as if it just happened. Jean, that is so true because I was just saying that it's been, gosh, it'll be 3 years since I lost Barney, and it's been over 2 years since I lost Simon. And it took me probably a year to even talk about them without crying. And every now and then something will just trigger it, or I'll see a picture or I'll watch a video. Oh, Matt, thank you for being here. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your beautiful music with us and your beautiful video of Otis. I really enjoyed watching it, and I loved sharing it. And I will definitely be at Peace Freaks later today. What is that, like 4 hours from now? I've got that card up. I know Blossom's also going to be live in an hour, actually. Seba's going to be live in about 12 minutes. So I am determined to finish this off in 12 minutes. Yeah, Caitlin, that video, oh my gosh, that song is so beautiful that I want to say yesterday I played it over and over again because I've done great. I was so determined to get through this live without crying. You all know I'm a big crier. Jay-Z says it isn't their absence we feel, it's their presence. Yeah, that's so true. And Kai says, grief is love with no place to go. And again, if you need a pet loss support group, literally that is the name of Kai's group, Pet Loss Support Group here on Insight Timer. That group is amazing. That group did so much for me when Barney crossed over. I was desperately seeking something, some way to alleviate what I was feeling, to talk to other people about what I was feeling. And that group was huge. So many amazing people in there. Kai is an amazing admin. Kai, shares her story of her loss as well, and is definitely a very compassionate person. And one of these days, Kai, I'm going to get you up here on camera with me. We've been trying. I know that we're on opposite ends of the time zone, but we're going to figure out a way to do it. All right, I'm going to share a couple of other cards here. I think I have Blossom's card for her live. Yep, here it is. My amazing musician friends. So Blossom is going. Yeah, Kai, we're going to do it. We are going to do it. I would love to have you on camera with me because I think if anybody would be amazing at, a live event discussing pet loss, it would definitely be you. Oh, you're welcome, Blossom. I love your lives. I'm looking at the time. I sent Tim out of the house and I told him to get dinner, and I'm wondering if he's going to text me. So I better get off here soon. I don't think he was very happy. He was off today. And I said to him, I have a live and you've got to leave because he sits on the couch and he starts snoring. And I'm like, I don't want people to hear you snoring. So yes, I threw him out of the house. Let's see, what other cards do I have up here? So I did mention that Siba is going live in 9 minutes. And he is doing silent dedications for our animal companions. I know, Mary, my poor husband. I sometimes I'm a handful. He did not look happy when I told him to leave the house. He was on the couch napping. He's been home all day napping on the couch. I'm like, get outside and go do something. So he said he had some shopping he needed to do. I was like, now's a good time. So go. All right. And what other events? Let's see. I've got another. We're doing with Matt and Sam and Nicole a live on the 17th called Peace Freaks, Freqs. And that is Matt's term, which I love. And it's not to be confused with freaks. We're not calling anybody freaks. But it's going to be a gathering of peace frequencies. And, you know, Matt does a lot of beautiful tracks with peace frequencies. And so does Sam. So I think having the two of them together is going to be awesome. And for those of you who did not hear the Peace Freak anthem, that's Nicole's voice. And I actually have that one too. I can play that one as we go out. But before we end the live, does anybody have anything they want to share in the chat? Please feel free. I know I can be very chatty at these things. And especially when I'm nervous, which I have to confess, before I started the live, I was nervous because I thought if I don't keep talking, I'll start thinking and I'll start crying. So if I've rambled a lot and been speaking really fast, that's probably why. But if anybody has anything they want to share before we go, let me know. Anything that helped you cope with your own pet loss, please share it with us. As I mentioned, I did create my course finally 2 years later. It's a very short course. And it's just about the things that I did that helped me cope, the things that I found on Insight Timer that helped me cope. One of the things that I did that I need to do again this year was I created this garden on the deck, and it was absolutely stunning. Next time I'll share a picture of that. I had so many flowers on my deck, and I would just sit outside and talk to Barney after he crossed over. And, you know, I'd be looking at all these beautiful flowers, and I would talk and I would cry. And that was really healing for me. I had also tried to make a track after Barney crossed over, but I was not successful because I couldn't stop crying. So I still have that one. I may eventually turn it into a track, but I have to read it and not cry. And I was listening to it yesterday, and of course it made me cry again. So I was like, all right, I'm not ready to do that one yet, but I'll get there eventually. My suggestion is, please, if you're feeling that grief, you know, look for the support, join the group, listen to those tracks. There's so many things that you can do. I know how heavy that loss is, and I know that these things helped me. You know, the tapping, making the garden, the shelf with all their little mementos, the pictures, the little items of jewelry that I bought with the little paw prints and their names. And hey, get a tattoo if you want. I haven't gotten any tattoos yet, but if I did, it would be with my pets' names. All right, friends, we've got 5 minutes to go. Like I said, Siba's live starts in 5 minutes. And I'm going to close out with that Peace Frequency anthem, which was Nicole's voice and Matt's music. And like I said, we're going to do a live on the 17th called Peace Freaks. So you'll get to hang out with us and hear more of that. And I'll be back next week with another letter. I haven't decided what topic. So if you have any suggestions on topics for letters, because you know I like to do letters in the journal, please let me know. Put it in the chat. Oh, thank you, Martha. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Blossom. Thank you, everybody who showed up to support me and to share with me. Yes, Siba, we will see you soon in your live. Jay Z, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. You're all awesome. And I'm so happy that I could share this with you. And Kai, thank you so, so much. Totally indebted to you for your beautiful pet loss support group. You know, the fact that there's 1,000 people in there speaks volumes for how amazing that group is. And I continue to recommend it to everybody. All right, friends, we're going to close out with another Matt video. Queuing it up right now. If you saw the list of Matt videos that I have, you would laugh. I had to actually, I'm using something called OBS. Oh, Matt, thank you for that donation. You're so sweet. And as I tell everybody, my donations go towards animal rescues, which is something near and dear to my heart. So yeah, I have a list of about 20 of Matt's videos. I had to open up my OBS screen so that I could see them all. I had to stretch it out a little. I am going to play the Peace Freak Anthem. And I'm going to pop up the card for that live that we're doing together. And as I mentioned before, Matt is going live in a couple of hours. I'll put that card up first.
I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak. You're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak. You're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all f all fly high. I'm a freak, I'm a vibe, I'm flying high. You're a freak, you're a vibe, let us all